Are we truly alone in the universe? What does it mean to be a man? Should you go chasing waterfalls? Or should you stick to the rivers and the streams that you're used to? We will aim to answer two of those three questions in today's video. Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we are here for another poetry discussion, which will appear in two separate playlists here on the channel. Number one being the poetry discussion playlist, now over 700 videos strong. And number two is the Robert Frost playlist, a playlist of videos dedicated to Robert Frost, the cranky old man himself. The poem in question today is The Most of It, and it reads as such. He thought he kept the universe alone, for all the voice in answer he could awake was but the mocking echo of his own from some tree-ridden cliff across the lake. Some morning from the boulder-broken beach he would cry out on life that what it wants is not its own love back in copy speech, but counter-love, original response. And nothing ever came of what he cried unless it was the embodiment that crashed in the cliff's talus on the other side, and then in the far distant water splashed, but after a time allowed for it to swim, instead of proving human when it neared, and someone else additional to him. As a great buck it powerfully appeared, pushing the crumpled water up ahead, and landed pouring like a waterfall, and stumbled through the rocks with horny tread, and forced the underbrush. And that was all. So we have a man alone in the woods, for he thought he kept the universe alone. For all the voice and answer he could wake was but the mocking echo of his own from some tree-ridden cliff across the lake. So he was alone, and he would cry out to see if anyone else was there. And the only answer that he got was his own voice echoing back to him. He was alone and ruining that. And then so he was asking for a sign, right? Asking for a sign, asking for what it means, asking for all of those existential purposes. For what am I here? Am I alone? What is going on? Is this the missing 411? And at the end of this, as he's asking if he's alone, something does break through that silence. Something does approach him, but it is not human. It is a buck. A buck. Keep it a buck. And that buck goes towards the water and disappears. Now, I think that there are two ways to interpret this poem. But I think there's really one primary way to get started with it. So we have the existentialist question here, the existentialist quest, perhaps. After all, what's this guy doing alone in the woods? Why is he there? He's not asking why he is in the woods. He's asking if he's alone. He's asking why he is, not why he is in the woods. So it seems that he is in the woods on purpose. It seems that he knows what he's doing. It seems that he's there on purpose. He's there for purpose. He's there looking for purpose. So we've got that part down. Then we go forward a little bit. And as he is asking all of these questions, it is a great and powerful buck that appears. Why? What is this? What is the meaning of the buck. Why is the buck there? Well, it's not a doe. It's not a bird. It's not any number of things that it could be. A doe would be feminine. A bird might be sort of gender neutral, right? It's a buck. It's a male. Has its antlers for war. Has its antlers for protection. Has its antlers to gain a mate. The buck is masculinity. The buck goes towards the water. Now, depending on the reading you give this, the buck goes to the water or the buck goes to drink the water. Either way, I will go with the assumption that it is just going towards the water. What is the water? The water is life. The water is necessity. The buck eventually has to drink. Doesn't have a choice in that, has to drink. He's not going to the waterfall to take a shower. He's going to the waterfall to drink. So this, I think, can be seen one of two ways. That buck masculinity goes to the water to drink, which is a sign to our speaker, hey man, don't ask all of these questions. Do what is necessary. Do what it is you have to do. You're asking all of these existential questions. Are you serving nature? Or are you just in some type of masturbatory self-loop inside your own mind? Or the buck shows up and goes for the water, the good stuff, goes for life, as opposed to giving any actual recognition to our speaker. So the buck could be doing what is necessary, telling our speaker, do what's necessary. Or the buck is just going to get water because, hey, that buck does not care that you are there. Nature does not care that you are standing there asking these existentialist questions. And finally, that buck then disappears, forced the underbrush, and that was all. So, in this moment, did the buck, under that first interpretation, going to the water, doing what was necessary, then get back to work, letting our speaker know, hey man, do what's necessary, feed yourself, shelter yourself, and get to work. This buck has to get back to work. Got to go do nature stuff. Got to disappear back into nature, doing all that nature stuff. Or, conversely, under that second interpretation there, the interpretation that says that the buck shows up and goes to get to the water because nature does not care about you, in that moment, after that moment, I guess I should say, the buck disappears into the underbrush, and that was all, because not only does nature not care about you, nature will turn her back on you. You are not just alone right now, you are truly alone. These are competing, perhaps, readings of this poem. Is this poem about the fact that we have to do the work that is necessary? We have to take care of the necessary and then get right back to work, the masculine way, which it does feel that way as a man a lot, right? Quit complaining, feed yourself, and go to work, dummy. Or is this poem saying, to the chagrin of existentialist dread, yeah, no, you're alone, man. Which, as a man, a lot of times it feels that way. No one cares what is bothering you. get up and go to work. So I think that either way you interpret this poem, as long as you were willing to concede that that buck stands for masculinity, probably you're onto something. That is all I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing I talk about on this channel. Dropping multiple videos every single week. There's poetry every Monday, and I hope to have you back for the next one.